Damon Martin MMA Fighting here with the president of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, coming off another highly successful card, BKFC 19, rolling right in to BKFC 20 next month. Welcome back, Dave Feldman. Dave, welcome back. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Damon. Again, as always, a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dave, what an incredible show! BKFC 19 was amazing from top to bottom. Once again, production was fantastic. The fights were great. We saw some incredible knockouts, some incredible performances. Kind of give me your overall thoughts on the night and how you felt the card went.
I mean, absolutely complete success at the end of the night. We were the 5th most downloaded app in the world. The last fight, we were the 8th. We were the 5th this time. And we were also promoting on pay-per-view. So that was tremendous for us because we weren't really promoting on the app as much. And we still became the 5th most downloaded app above Major League Baseball. I was like, wow, this is real now. This is getting real. So just a phenomenal night all around. Great fights all from top to bottom. You know, I don't remember one bad fight of the night. And, you know, the main event delivered. So it was very successful from my viewpoint.
Absolutely. So we talked a lot. We talked several times, Dave, about the main event between Paige VanZant and Rachael Ostovich, and the pressure on Paige coming into her second fight with BKFC, and of course Rachael coming into her first fight. And I'll be honest, going into it, I thought Paige is going to have a definite advantage. She's been through it now, and we saw in her 5th round against Britain Hart, she had her strongest performance, and I thought, okay, here we're going to see a much better Paige, and I think we did see a better Paige. But we also got a very surprising performance out of Rachael Ostovich, I thought.
Yeah, we definitely saw a new and improved Paige VanZant. I mean, her punches were crisp, her movement was good. She was a different Paige, but you also saw the Rachael Ostovich who said she was going to, be the one that said, "Look, I'm a tough Hawaiian. We do things different here. We're tough." And she did tell me that she was scared to death, going into that fight. She just didn't know what to expect, but she went out there and she delivered, man. She gave it her all. Great fight for the fans. Everything about the whole thing was fantastic. Those overhand rights she was throwing, I think, was really the difference in the outcome of that fight.
And we've seen it now in back-to-back fights. I think I mentioned this too when we talked pre-fight. Pearl Gonzalez came out, and I was shocked at how comfortable she looked in her debut. And now Rachael kind of came out and did the same thing. Like, I've been so impressed by these last couple of fights because, again, usually I always say bare knuckle is a different animal, and I'll continue to say that. But I've been really surprised. A couple of those performances were really, really stunning.
Absolutely. And with Rachael, it's funny because she was adamant on just doing this one fight. I just want to do this one fight. I just want to do this one fight. And then at the press conference afterwards, she said, "Man, I had so much fun. I can't wait to be back." So, it's different. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for the women, especially that really want to do this. But aside from, I know that it really escalates their popularity. So it's a really good thing there. They come in here and they fight their asses off. I mean, we just have some of the best fights in BKFC history or female fights. So we're investing heavily into the females right now. We're going to bring a lot of females over. We're going to establish a 125-pound champion very, very soon. And we're just going to keep moving on the women and the men and, the whole entire thing, Damon.
Absolutely. Now, I know after a fight, Dave, you usually give your fighters some time, some space to, celebrate, relax with their families and things like that. But in your mind, are you confident? Do you think we will see Rachael Ostovich back in a BKFC ring again?
I mean, I'm confident we are. Yeah. I think we treated her well. We have a good relationship with her management team, Sucker Punch and Brian Butler. So I don't see any reason, why not, unless someone else just gives her a crazy offer. I don't think there's any reason why she wouldn't be back here.
Yeah. Let me ask you about Paige, because obviously you guys made a significant investment in Paige VanZant. And I think even with 2 losses, I mean, a lot of that is paid off because the attention paid to her fights, the amount of coverage that she's gotten. I mean, those are all good things for BKFC in general. But at the end of the day, it does come down to wins and losses. We can't ignore that. And that's anything with sports. You can be the biggest superstar in the world, but you got to win. Kind of give me your thoughts on Paige in that fight and kind of where she goes from here, because now she's 0-2. I don't think she looked bad necessarily in either fight, but at the end of the day, 0-2 is 0-2.
No, absolutely. You're right. 100% you're right on that. She didn't look bad in either fight. She didn't do enough to win either fight, but she didn't look bad in either fight. She looked improved in the second fight. I don't think we're out of the Paige VanZant business. I really don't. I like Paige. I like the fact that she's very passionate about what she does. We're going to sit down with her and her team and see what makes sense next. But I think you're going to see Paige back in the square circle. I really, really, truly do. I think that we're going to come to terms on what we need to do as a team, all of us collectively, and what she needs to do to deliver to keep doing this thing. Thing is she after this fight, she said, "I'll be back." She doesn't want to quit, and that's the thing I love about her. The thing I didn't like that she stormed out of the ring and didn't come to the post-fight press conference. But at the same time, I liked it for the fact that she did it because she's so passionate about what she does. And I like fighters that don't take losses good. I don't want a fighter to take a loss very good, because that means that, they didn't have that inside of them. So she didn't take the loss good, and I didn't mind that. On the flip side, she needs to do what the company requires, and there could have been miscommunication and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't even matter. What matters is she fought really, really well, and we're going to sit down with her team and see what's next. Really, that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. I know this is a really difficult question to answer, Dave, because you never say never on anything, and you can't predict the future. But the reality is, going into her next fight, do you feel like Paige is in a must-win situation? She's got to win, to continue moving forward, because at the end of the day, this is a business. And obviously, you've built an incredible women's division. We'll talk about the title picture in a second. I mean, we just, Beck Rawlings is back. Taylor Starling looked fantastic the other night. Obviously, Rachel's out there now. You got Britain Hart, who had another huge win. You're really building up this division. At the end of the day, you want contenders. So do you feel like Paige will probably be in a must-win situation in her next fight?
I mean, absolutely, she's in a must-win situation. I mean, I thought she was in a must-win situation in this fight, but she performed very well, I thought, as to the fact that they were on Fight of the Night honor. So I thought that she was in a must-win coming in, and she lost, and I still think that we're in the Paige VanZant business. So, but with that being said, I absolutely think she's in a must-win. I mean, I can't keep saying she fought really good. Now let's see what happens next time. Eventually, and now's the time, she has to come up with a victory. And, like I said, we'll sit down with our team and see what happens. And I think that we're all going to move forward together. But you're absolutely right. She's in a must-win situation without a doubt.
Yeah, I like that you address. I was actually going to ask you your thoughts on Paige, leaving the ring, because I get both sides of it. Like the passion, I get that, like the anger, the frustration of not winning, but also there's a sportsmanship side, right? You want to congratulate your opponent. You want to have that moment where you let them shine. You don't want to take away from that. So I get both sides of it, and I appreciate you because I wanted to ask you that the night of, because it was such a weird one, because I get it. And she addressed it the next day. Obviously, she's very passionate. I get it, but at the same time, you're like, man, you want to see your fighters face up to it, because there is a certain level of acceptance in that when they face those questions, when they face those kind of moments after a tough loss.
No, we just talked about this. Actually, the team just talked about this right before this call, and we said everybody has to be held to the same standards. Like there's no, this person doesn't have to show up or that person doesn't have to show up. They all have to show up. They all have to stay in the ring and congratulate their opponent. Look, there wasn't bad blood here. That's the other thing. If there was bad blood, then maybe I would have understood it more. But at the end of the day is, look, she has a lot of pressure on her. She does. And I'm not making excuses for her by any means. I mean, look, she's getting paid very, very nicely, and she needs to deliver on all aspects. But she has a lot of pressure on her. Everybody, she's in a position where I think everybody wants to see her fail. So, that's a position that, makes you act out in certain ways, I believe. But we can't keep saying next time, next time, next time. So this is the next time, right? If we sit down with our team, we work this deal out, and this is the time on her third fight, and she comes out victorious, great. If she doesn't, then, it'll probably end up being a career for her with us.
Yeah. With that being said, Dave, as I mentioned, you had some tremendous other fights on the card in the women's division. Britain Hart, man, she looked good once again, taking out Jenny Savage. We know how bad Jenny Savage wanted that fight. Obviously, she confronted her after the Paige VanZant win. Britain went out there and really took it to her and looked great. I mean, I know Britain actually ended up having the busted eye, but that was I didn't even really see that punch land. Britain had a phenomenal performance, and then of course Taylor Starling. Good Lord, man! Which did Cassie Robb owe her money or something? Because she went out there and just eviscerated her in seconds. I mean, those two fights were amazing.
I mean, I asked her after the fight. I said, "What took you so long? Why'd you have such a slow start?" Like, I don't know, man. man, she must have done something bad to her. But in all seriousness, man, all these women look good. As you mentioned earlier, Pearl Gonzalez looks sensational. We have a really, really fun 125-pound female division right now. So we're going to sit down next week. We're going to put down a map, and that map's going to end up, the road's going to end up at the 125-pound championship, and we're going to make those announcements here soon. But I'm excited about the women in bare knuckle fighting. For some reason, they just come and they really, really deliver in this sport, and we're going to invest heavily into the women.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you mentioned before the event last week, we covered it, was Bec Rawlings is officially coming back. She was the queen of bare knuckle, the champion, undefeated in BKFC. I'm not trying to play matchmaker. I know you mentioned she's probably going to come back in October. Will Bec get a fight first and then determine like how you're going to do? So I know you said you want to do a tournament for the 125-pound title. So I assume we're talking about like 4 women. How does that affect Bec? Because she was the champion. So how does that affect her?
Yeah, you know what though? In BKFC's defense, she was the champion, but she wasn't the BKFC champion. She's the Police Gazette champion, and the BKFC, stands on its own as crowns its own champion. And we never made her the BKFC champion, but we are going to crown a BKFC champion. She fought great. She's 3-0 in our organization, more than any other woman right now. So look, we have Christine Fierra too. So, I mean, we have Bec, we have Christine Fierra, we have Taylor Starling, Pearl Gonzalez, Britton Hart, Rachael Ostovich, and then it just goes on and on. We have so many women in here. So it might be a 4 fight. It might be an 8 fight. I don't know. We'll know that next week when we sit down. I don't think, Bec's not going to get a fight and then come in. She's going to come in and get thrown into that tournament. I mean, that's what she wants to do. That's what's going to happen. She's not here just as a sideshow. She's going to be a part of this, part of the growth of this company. And she did a good job before. I think this is her sport. I think she can be successful in MMA, but I think she can be extremely successful in bare knuckle. So, I think this is her sport. And like I said, next week, I've answered all those questions. We're going to put everything together.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it sounds like you're moving pretty quick on this. So are you looking to kick this tournament off sooner rather than later, whether it's 8 people, 4 people? Is this something you're looking to start pretty soon?
Yeah, we're going to start this off in October. It looks like it'll be our first show in Arizona, and then bring it back to the next round of it will be in Miami in November. We have 3 events in Miami. Man, we got such an action-packed October, November. We have 2 events in October. We have an event November 5th in Birmingham, Alabama, and then November 6th in Allegheny County, New York, and then November 12th back in Miami. So we have 3 shows in the span of 7 days.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's going to be busy. And it's kind of crazy when you think about this. When you started BKFC, did you ever imagine that your most thriving division would be the 125-pound women's division? I mean, look at the talent that's there. It's ridiculous. Like, if you said you were making a 4-person tournament right now, Dave, I don't know what 4 you'd pick. Like, it'd be a tough choice.
100% it would. I mean, I would have told you back then, I would have said the men's heavyweight division all the way. And now it's the women's 125-pound division that's on fire. Although there's a lot of other things heating up too. Arnold Adams with a great victory over Mick Terrell. So the heavyweight division's heating up as well. So there's a lot of divisions really heating up with BKFC. In general, really the whole sport's really heating up with BKFC and with other companies as well. So we're just really pleased at the growth of the sport. As I mentioned to you last time, that the ABC was going to vote in a bare knuckle boxing committee, and yesterday at their annual conference, they officially, for the first time, voted a bare knuckle boxing committee in, formed the committee, and now we're off to the races, man. It was just a tremendous day for us.
So amazing. So amazing. Congrats on that. It's so funny. We've talked so much over the years about, the growth of BKFC, and man, it's kind of crazy to see where it's coming. So I said this the other night, like, it's such a short amount of time. Like I wrote about Bec re-signing. I was like, yeah, I thought about it. It felt like so long ago. She was in 2018. It's been 3 years.
It's crazy, man. I mean, the journey has been unbelievable, and the growth has just been exponential. Like I can't believe the growth. I knew the growth was going to come, but not this fast, and coming at this speed, and with everywhere we're going right now. And it's funny, I just did another call with actually someone that used to work with the UFC, and they said, man, everybody on Saturday night at the UFC event was talking about the bare knuckle event more than they were talking about the UFC event. And I was like, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. I'm happy. The team's happy, man. The fighters are performing. The production's getting better and better every single show, man. Just everything about this company is going up. The trajectory is just amazing right now.
Absolutely. Now, another big thing that happened on Friday night was the influencer fights. And I know you addressed this after the fight. Now, I got to be honest, Dave, obviously we talk and it's pretty much always positive, but I got to say, when they walked out with gloves on, I was like, what's going on here? Are we in bare knuckle? Why are they wearing gloves? Now, you addressed this after the fact and you said, listen, we're a bare knuckle organization. They need to be bare knuckle fights. And I know you were having fun doing the experiment, letting the social influencers, you mentioned, 58 million followers. You can't ignore that kind of attention. But at the end of the day, now that it's over, said and done with, do you think that you'll do something like that again? Or if you do, it would have to be in the bare knuckle arena?
No, I won't do anything like that again. It worked. Like it did work for numbers wise. It absolutely worked, but it's not for the bare knuckle platform. So it won't fall on the bare knuckle platform. If we ever do something like that again as a sideshow, it won't have anything to do with bare knuckle. Bare knuckle is always going to be bare knuckle now. The one thing that I always want to go on record is I listen to the fans. I do give the fans what they want almost all the time. I know what the fans want. They don't want any type of gimmick thing, so they're not going to get gimmicks. They're going to get straight bare knuckle fighting that they've been accustomed to and got used to and have grown to really love, and we're just going to continue to deliver on that.
I don't know if you saw. I don't want to hammer the poor guy. Obviously, we had that incident with Blueface. Did you see the booking photo of the guy who tried to jump in the ring with him? Did you see that?
No,
it did not. He did not look well. It looked like Blueface might have gone 2-0 that night. It seems like.
Well, did you see the aftermath at all?
I did. I just saw. Obviously, I saw the craziness in the ring, but I saw he was swinging, and I saw that dude's booking photo. I was like, "Geez, man, he did not. That did not come out to be a wise decision to try to jump in the ring that night."
Well, I mean, look, man, I was with Blueface trying to grab a picture with him, and then this guy comes up and he goes, "I'll fight you," and I'm like, "Dude, get out of the ring! What are you doing here?" And we just pushed him back a little, and I'm like, "Dude," and then he took a swing, and we just gripped him up, got him out, and it was over. But I don't know anything about it, but the one thing I do know about it is they have one charge on him, and actually we were able to get another charge on him today, which is inciting a riot. So we're not going to play with stuff like that. We definitely tightened up security. He jumped over the table, over the rope. I mean, the only way that wouldn't have happened is if we had like 40 security guards at ringside, and you can't do that. It's one of those things that happen, and we're going to combat, and it's not going to happen again. And if it does happen again, then these guys are going to pay the price for it. We're not playing games anymore with this.
Absolutely. Now, another incident that happened outside the ring at BKFC 19, and there was no physical altercation, obviously. I'm sure you saw Hector Lombard had a conversation with Tyron Woodley, who was there. And Hector came out. I'm sure you saw Hector's statement. He would never disrespect BKFC by, starting something outside the ring. He has too much respect for you and the organization. Obviously, he's your champion. Now, listen, you're a promoter, Dave, and we know what's going on. Tyron Woodley's going to be boxing Jake Paul in a few weeks. I'm going to be at that fight here in Ohio. But be honest, you saw that. You saw the attention. Would you ever promote Hector Lombard against Tyron Woodley in a bare knuckle fight?
I would love to. That would be tremendous. We'll see what happens with the Jake Paul fight, right? If Tyrone wins, maybe he's on to big things there. I don't know what's going to happen there. If he loses a good fight and comes over to BKFC, we can put that fight together. If he gets knocked out, it's going to be hard to make that an attractive fight. So there's a lot of question marks that surround this fight with Jake Paul. But absolutely, it's something I would love to entertain. I mean, Tyron Woodley's a big name. Hector Lombard's a big name. And promoters dream. They already have beef, right? They have beef, so we can promote them, on top of that beef. So absolutely, I would love to do that. But if not, we have something up our sleeve for November 12th for Hector Lombard anyway. So we'll see what happens after this fight, and then we'll make that announcement.
Yeah, it's got to be good to have those options, though, right? Like you can't make this kind of stuff up. It's organic, it's real, and hey, if you can capitalize on it, go for it. Like I said, immediately, I wanted to text you that night and be like, "So, Dave, are you booking the fight? Like, what's going on here?"
It was great, man. It was just like, I didn't want Tyrone to think like we were setting him up because someone recorded it. And I'm like, and my team wanted to share it. And I'm like, you can't share it. It looks like we're setting it up. We're not setting this up. This shit happened. But look, man, Tyrone was good. He was classy to us, very nice to us. And Hector, he's always one of our guys. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, if not, we have something, a really, really nice, exciting, explosive fight for Hector Lombard on November 12th.
Absolutely. Real quick, before we close the book on BKFC 19, there was an alternate commentary track for the fights on Fight TV on Friday night. You had Chuck Liddell and his guys. It was fun. I've enjoyed those. I know Snoop Dogg did that thing for the UFC a couple of years ago. It was fun to watch that. And I'm sure you saw the story the other day. Chuck was talking about, they said, hey, if they're interested, come talk to me. Now, Dave, you've never been opposed to bringing over superstars, but obviously Chuck's in a little different situation. He's a little older, but he is a legend. Did you see that comment? And is there a possibility you'd ever have a conversation with Chuck Liddell?
I mean, we're going to have a conversation with him. My fear is, and not that he's too old, but his body may be too old, right? I want to make sure that we get some semblance of the old Chuck Liddell and not an old Chuck Liddell. So if that happens, I heard that he had some injuries in that Tito fight where he got surgery and he got them fixed, and that was stopping his movement and things like that. That's what we hear. So we're gonna actually talk and see what happens. Again, this isn't about saying anything bad about Chuck Liddell. He's a freaking legend. It's about we don't want to put him in harm's way and then therefore put the company in harm's way. If he's in good enough shape to fight, then yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely welcome that. Obviously, with the match that I already have in my head, and I know that it's going to be a super match, but with another guy at a little bit of an advanced age, that would make a lot of sense. That's very, very well known as well. So I have a really good fight in my head, but we're going to know in the next couple of days. Actually, we just scheduled a call for Monday at 2:00.
Oh wow, there you go. Is there any chance? And I know you like to let me break news, Dave. I'll ask this: is there a chance the guy you have in mind, his name rhymes with Schmanderley Milva? Is there any chance his name rhymes with that? Is that possible?
Oh man, that's one of them.
That's one of those legendary fights we always wanted. I know we got it once, but come on, bare-knuckle seeing it. Good Lord, come on now.
Really, I mean, I don't care at their age, but really, who wouldn't tune in for that? That would be something special.
Yeah, and obviously, again, health concerns. That's one of the paramount things. You're past the point. You're far beyond the point of a gimmick fight where you need a Chuck Liddell to sell. We just saw what you did on Friday night and what you did at Knucklemania and all the other events you've had. So you don't need that. But if he's healthy, I mean, listen, I questioned Mike Tyson coming back, and then what he did against Roy Jones, I was shocked. I was blown away by Mike Tyson's performance. So again, we can't sit here and say just because you're a certain age, you can't do it anymore.
No, absolutely. So, I'm going to find out a little bit about how his health is, how his training is, and everything else on Monday. And then I'll have an answer then. I would love to be able to do it. It would be phenomenal. It would bring a lot of exposure to the brand. But at the same time, it's got to make sense medically, because we just got accepted to the Association of Boxing Commissioners and bare-knuckle boxing committee because we do everything right medically, and we don't want to. Oh, okay. Now we got accepted. Now we're not going to pay attention to you guys. That's not going to happen. So just as long as everything falls in line, absolutely, open arms.
Yeah. And moving on to BKFC 20 real quick. Obviously, you're going to be crowning a new bantamweight champion, Johnny Bedford against Reggie Barnett. Their first fight was fantastic. This is going to be a great rematch. And Alan Belcher making his debut. I talked to Alan right after he signed with you guys. He's super excited. I saw some of that video footage. Good Lord, he's yoked. He is definitely adjusted to being a heavyweight.
Absolutely, man. He looks in tremendous shape. He definitely bulked up. He looks like he's training really, really, really hard. And, again, like we do with a lot of these BKFC guys, we throw him an easy fight. we throw him someone and he's like, man, him? Really? I'm like, look, man, nobody gets a gift here at BKFC, man. They just don't get it. I said, look, you got to come in. You got to fight. I'm giving you a guy that, is someone that's beatable for you. He's a really tough dude. He's 44, 45 years old. He's not a big puncher, but he's durable as hell. So it's someone that if you get past Tony Lopez, you belong here at BKFC.
And look at Tony Lopez's record. That guy's fought and I mean, battle with. Lord, who couldn't say that's definitely not an easy path to a win. No way, shape, or form.
No way at all. So, I was excited about that match. I threw it out there and the team said, yeah, thumbs up. So I said, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, the return of Quentin Henry and, of course, the bantamweight title at the top of the card. Johnny Bedford has been a tremendous star for you guys. Reggie Barnett has been itching for that rematch title in line. So keep rolling here, man. I know you mentioned 3 shows in November. You just don't – do you get a day off? Like, do you ever get a day off, Dave?
Nah, every once in a while, man. Every once in a while. But you know what, man? We're growing too fast, and this thing is moving too fast. We're going to get plenty of days off when the time is needed. We turned down a very, very lucrative offer about a week and a half ago to sell the company. We're in great shape right now, and we think in 2 to 3 years we're going to be where we said we're going to be.
And do you think, obviously I heard a little bit about some rumor about that, about, the offer. When you get to that point, when you've got people coming at you and saying, we want to offer you X amount of dollars to buy BKFC. Now, listen, this isn't the end goal. Obviously, there's a lot more you can do and continue to build the brand, but does that kind of make you feel like, hey, this is truly paying off? When you got somebody willing to offer you a bunch of money to buy your organization, that's kind of when you made it, right? Like, because they see that they people don't spend money unless there's an investment that they're going to get back.
100%. I mean, it was an unbelievable feeling for us. Really, it was like, wow, really, that kind of money? But we didn't grow it to where we want to grow it yet. So it's not even about the money yet. At the end of the day, I'll always find a way to make money. I'm just, I'm resourceful. I build businesses, and sometimes some good things happen and sometimes they don't. So I'll find my way. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough for the team. Like I said, man, in all these interviews, I always say my team, my team, my team. Because without my team, I wouldn't be here. My team, that some of these guys worked for me, for 2 years for free until we were able to make enough money to pay them. So it's got to be enough to change everybody's life. And when that time comes, and BKFC is at the right point, because it would also be tough, even if it was 250 million and we're sitting at home and, we're watching on TV and saying, man, look where it's at now. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Dave, congratulations again on another amazing card. I say it every time we talk, man. It just seems like BKFC keeps getting bigger and better, and it's fun to see the reaction. You see it. You see it in the metrics in terms of what people are, watching the show and the return on, articles and things like that. It's crazy. The attention that's being paid to BKFC right now is amazing. And I know you love to see it. And I just have a blast covering the card. So congrats again on another amazing card. Looking forward to BKFC 20. Hopefully some more big announcements in the news in the future. You'll let me break them. I appreciate that. And and Dave, thank you as always for the time. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Damon. I appreciate you, man.